So a theme throughout that, I think, was around sort of democratizing or creating access towards some of these better, more sustainable, more circular solutions. I think that's a really important part of the transition that we're talking about here and Design for Planet. There are no doubt many of you will have seen glimpses of new ways of living that might be shiny and impressive, but are only for the few. So where that access or that democratization is not there. The examples of innovation that are fine if you can afford it, but not really a model for widespread global prosperity or future well-being. So the question that underpins this next conversation is, how can we unlock agency and hope to drive meaningful climate action at scale in complex regions? FAM Studio and Energy Makers Academy are going to reflect on insights from their work equipping youth in Kenya with solar technology skills. So it's a story about design as an opportunity to create space, resources, courage, and the hope needed to enable climate action at scale. Bethany Kobe is our chair for this one. She's going to introduce the panel. I believe we have some of the team watching live from Kenya now, which is fantastic to hear. But let's welcome the panel to the stage.
I think they're going to put... Sorry. It's okay. I think they're going to put chairs. I think they're going to put chairs first. Yeah. We get chairs and everything. Gonna go that way. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Yes. Cool. Hello. Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Bethany, and I'm one of the co-founders of FAM Studio. And we are a research and design agency focused on helping kids and families to thrive together with nature wherever they are. And we're going to talk about a very specific case study today. And I'm going to try and kind of prompt in, ask questions, just to get to the kind of depths of the process and the ways in which we work. I'll start by sharing a little bit about the studio and kind of why we do this and kind of what our remit is. So my background's in design, entrepreneurship, and education. I'm also a mother. And I think, like a lot of us, it came from a need that I specifically had as a mother, where I just saw that this kind of model that we're currently living in around kids and families is just not really serving everyone. So, you know, the rise in anxiety and stress, young people are really feeling the changes that are happening around them. The all-time high of stress in parents has never been so astronomical. And the current services, products, and even kind of mindsets are not really shifting how we do that. So we really focus on these kind of three shifts in the work we do. And this project, I think, really exemplifies a lot of these shifts that we're trying to do. So moving from really passive engagement to what we call creative citizenship, bringing the voice of young people and youth into the processes, moving from linear education to expanded ways of learning, which includes intergenerational learning, capacity building, and moving from this disconnection we have with the natural world into a much deeper connection with nature. We don't focus on a very particular medium or format. We very intentionally focus on the right medium and format to serve the culture, the scenario, and the people that we're serving. And I think this project in particular really exemplifies that. So we are here with one of our partners. I think Marina, in one of the earlier talks, talked about really define what you mean by partnership. So this is a symbiotic partnership. The way we partner is really where kind of 1 + 1 = 10. So it's a partnership with Open Energy Labs and a project that they focus on called Energy Makers Academy, which has really focused on serving youth to access electricity and skills for over 10 years. It's a partnership with Strathmore University, Cape Town University, and funded by Innovate UK. So it really does have a kind of strong partnership. And it's not just a product. So in this case, this is about empowering youth through really engaging them in the process and in really engaging the product itself in the story that they're trying to really be a part of. It's really an ecosystem or a system that we're really designing. And Samson, who I'm going to introduce in a second, is going to take us through the detail of that product and the service that we've developed. And this team is a very small demonstration of a much larger multidisciplinary team. It was over 20 people in 3 different continents, from Iceland to Kenya, from the US to the UK, multidisciplinary across hardware, software, firmware, UX, UI, content development, just one of those multi-pronged, multidisciplinary teams, because quite frankly, the problem is complex and the solution is also complex. So I'm going to introduce this team who's really been leading this process and this project for over 12 months now. So Samson is the founder of Open Energy Labs, who's been working across Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, really helping rural and urban centers and youth to help to access energy and skills. He's worked with Innovate UK, with the UN, and with the Zambian energy company. Alba is one of the founding partners of FAM. She leads a lot of our work around design and experience development. She has over 10 years of experience working with kids and families across countrywide curriculum, all the way to startups wanting to serve emotional literacy to young people and their families, and has worked for startups as well as Lego Creative Play Labs. And Peter, who has joined us from Kenya, so flew all the way from Kenya to join us, grew up in Nairobi and has worked across the country supporting EdTech and building computer labs in hundreds of schools, really empowering teachers, thousands of teachers, with integrating technology into the education system, and has done that for over 15 years. So it's a really exciting panel. It's a really hopeful project. And I think that's why we really called this project what we called it, or the panel what we called it. So the way we look at the design process, especially in these kind of complex situations, is we're trying to design for agency. And what we mean by agency is really creating choice, freedom, and preference in the experience that we're designing. We find that that really gives a sense of meaning to the youth and the young people that are interacting with that experience. And it's not just in the experience, it's in the process of creating that experience as well. Through that, we're able to catalyze a sense of hope. And we don't just mean hope as in kind of one dimension. It's really about possibility. The possibility to have social mobility, the possibility to have jobs and work in the future, even the possibility of having joy and meaning in the experiences that they're able to experience in whatever setting young people find themselves in. And that really creates a sense of action. It's really hard to act from a place of despair. And it's even harder to act from a place when you don't feel like your voice is part of the solution. So I will leave it at that, and I will start with asking Peter to give us a sense of the context of Kenya right now and what's happening in Kenya. What is the problem that we're really addressing with this project?
Thank you very much. Kenya is a country in East Africa with a population of 57.5 million. Out of the 57.5 million, 46% is comprised of the youth. Now, the youth within this context, they are jobless, they are within the marginalized areas. That means they are growing up within the slum. And there is also a very big skill gap. When I talk about skill gap, it means most of the time when you go to school, you learn more theory, and when you come out, the practical aspect, you are not able to apply, to apply it. So this has developed, or we have gotten so many youth out of the system, and they don't have a job. And that's why if you have been looking at the news, you see we have now a different conversation in Kenya about the rise of the Gen Z. These young people are asking for the space in the where they can have, they're able to have a conversation where they're asking the people in the government, can we have the jobs? Yeah.
Beautiful. No, that's clear. So Samson, can you take us through a little bit about the specific problem that Energy Makers Academy within that context is trying to address?
Sure. So what we're fundamentally trying to do is to improve the material conditions of people's lives. And an essential part of that is access to energy, and most prominently access to electricity, or the electrical form of energy. And it's a problem not just in Kenya, but also across the continent of Africa, where 600 million people don't have access to electricity. And the solution that people have been developing or deploying is off-grid solar energy systems, and these often look like these solar home kits that you can see on the top left there. And those are sold as a consumer item on consumer credit. You pay it off over 3 years, and at the end of the 3 years, you own it. But unfortunately, that's also when the warranty comes to an end and it breaks. Right? So you've just bought an energy system, you spent 3 years paying it off, it's broken, what do? Well, I need an energy system. So you try and find someone to fix it, but actually, in these communities, because of that skills gap, there is no one who can fix it. And so what happens, you go out, you buy another one. 3 years happens, you go out, you do another one. This problem has been running now for the last 15 years. You have people who have 4, 5 of these systems in their homes, unbroken. Those that send it or throw it away, it ends up in landfill. And it's a massive problem. And across the continent, we're now looking at 250 million broken solar home systems, 90% of which, recent research has shown, can be brought online for a fraction of the cost of a new unit. And one of the key barriers there is the ability of the local community to deliver those repair services, but also to imagine devices or systems or products that are different based on their local context, which you can see in the top right-hand corner, something I call vernacular technology, where people are coming up, utilizing the things that they have around them to actually come up with new and innovative solutions. So this is latent innovation or innovative capacity that sits just beneath the surface that just needs something to unlock it. So if we kind of zoom out a little bit, and we think about ownership and the way in which people interact with products. I mean, the lowest level is not owning, right? So a lot of people don't have access to electricity. If we maybe imagine this as similar to a car, right? So if you don't have a car, you don't know how to drive a car because it's tacit knowledge. You can't read a book and then suddenly drive a car. You actually have to have access to the resource to understand it. Then we have our usual consumers. This is someone who buys a car and just drives it around. They buy their energy, they have their system, but they wouldn't know how to fix it. So if they need to fix it, they need to go someone to actually get it repaired. And then we have these people that we kind of call confident maintainers or confident owners, people who can look at the device, see any problems, and fix it. Right? So these are your mechanics. These are the people who are electronic maintainers, technicians who actually maintain the product. And then we also have the people who design these products. And those are the thriving innovators that we're really focused on building because of that latent innovative capacity that we've recognized. And so what we're actually trying to do with Energy Makers Academy is jump from people who have no energy right to thriving innovators, which currently is not possible because they don't have access to electricity.
So Alba, based on that context, this kind of rising growth of youth in Kenya and these capacity needs, tell us about the kind of ecosystem and solution that was developed.
Yeah, so the EMA ecosystem, I mean, you can see it a little bit in here, but like high level, it contains the power box. Samson, where I need to bring it is down there. We actually brought the power box with us. It contains the power kit. It also contains like the tools that you need in order to like fix and repair everything that is in there, as well as like components and experiments. And all of this comes together with an app. And the app has all the content for these youth to go through all the learnings and all the materials that they need in order to understand electronics, programming, and including like also design of electronics. So basically like what happens is that like students sign up on the app, they receive wherever they are, this box with everything that they need for the entire course. And then, like, basically, I mean, they download the app, and they can also download and like access these materials offline. So this is something that we noticed was, extremely relevant for remote areas. In this app, you will find like videos, you will find also quizzes, and the students will go at their own pace through these materials. After they complete the final project, they will get an accreditation and a certificate from Strathmore University. This means a lot, and I think Peter will talk a little bit about it later. But having a certification from a university as valuable as Strathmore gives a lot of confidence in the communities as well, right? The graduates right after this can put their skills to action, and this comes in the shape of repairs in the local community for a small fee. Sometimes they put together also like solar systems for the community, like just because they have now the knowledge and knowing how a solar panel, a battery, the solar charge controller, which is this beautiful thing that we call PowerBox, and how that will affect the way that the phones are charged, the lights can be plugged in. They also have enough confidence sometimes to open up other electronics, like small electronics, like radios or speakers, and feel confident enough to like repair those in the communities. So let's move on to the next one. So when we talk about agency, we are talking about it in like two different ways or two different levels. In one level is like bringing people into the process, right? This is like influencing what we do and how we do it. And then like the other part is the design choices that we take in the products and the services. So how are we designing things? So the two are obviously extremely interlinked. You can't do one without the other. So when we talk about bringing people into the process, we're not just talking about user research, which is super, super important, but it's about bringing people as like partners in a way, like they are an extended part of the team at this point. And with these experts, we are co-creating, we are collaborating, we are consulting in like the decisions that we take along the process. And a great example of this, and like I'm so glad that they managed to join us online, but we have two communities that we have been engaged with for like a year already. One is in Nairobi, is in Kibera. And it's this group of young people, extremely bright, that has been influencing a lot of the decisions that we have been taking throughout. The other one, it's in Molot, which Molot is 3 to 5 hours from Nairobi, depending on the tracks, and like Peter can tell you about that. Yeah. But it's a rural community that is mainly living from farming. And these two communities have been instrumental in the way that we have developed this. So the way that we are connecting with them, like right now, is we have like several WhatsApp groups with them, and through these WhatsApp groups, they have been telling us about because they are experimenting with the early versions of the product from the very beginning, and they have been telling us about the things that like we can improve as well. This is the way why we know that they are fixing radios or fixing speakers as well. And the other things, like obviously through co-creations and consulting. So we have been bringing these communities to both like talk about how shall we shape the program. So we understood about the importance of community in a way that we didn't have that hypothesis in a way, right? Yeah. We learned through this that community is really important, that peer-to-peer learning, although us trying to achieve something that was remote, that community and that the learnings that they are created like together with the community and for the community are very important. So that shifted a bit the way that we were designing the model. We also learn about the restrictions and the opportunities that they had with their schedules, right? Like, it's not the same living in Nairobi that living in the countryside and needing to be a bit more tactical about the farming and the seasons, right? The seasonality. So all of these things have influenced tremendously the design. We got to the point that they have also chosen the colors. Like this was a design choice as well. Like we gave several decisions. So they have been part of design of choosing the colors, choosing the UI as well. And this, I don't know, a part of being extremely rewarding has been a joy to create these relationships with these people. And for this, we are very grateful for Peter to be the person that introduced us to these communities. Let me see, because I may forget something super important, and I don't want. But yeah, anyway, that many of them have become advocates of EMA. And then in terms of the products and the services, so ultimately, as Bethany was saying, this is an educational program. And education can be done in many, many different ways. The way that we have decided and chosen to do it is through agency, through enable that agency. What that means is that we want anyone to finish this course and be like, I'm ready. I can do it. I have the tools, I have the knowledge, and go for it. And even, to be honest, they don't even need to finish the course. They can already go for it, like with the minimum knowledge. So for this reason, we have, and let me go a bit into technicalities, and maybe you can help with that. But yeah, no, it's the solar power. So this solar power system is also, it comes connected with like a solar panel, and maybe we can go to the previous one. We have the solar panel, we have the lights, you can charge already the phone. So this is coming from the get-go. But it also works as a solar bench power supply. Got it. What that means is that they can already plug in the tools that they need without needing to plug this into the mains. So that means that they can perform some repairs or some assessments already like in a super remote area without accessing anything. Again, we also have included like little, experiments as well that lead, for example, we didn't want them to like solder. In previous iterations, we have been soldering the components in here, but that was like a huge risk for safety reasons, and also for us, like in many ways. So we are giving them other chances to solder, to do things. So anyway, like what I'm trying to say in here is that like that agency has been looking into like the most like remote like details, including the choice of the screws. Like we wanted to, like for design reasons, we wanted to show some beautiful hex screws. I don't know if you're familiar with those, right? The IKEA, beautiful looking like hexagons. We went for like more Phillips heads because that's like what everybody has, right? So it's small choices that make it more like enable these people to like actually go for it. So just to close, just to say that as you see, those two are very linked, the two like levels of agency, and that we have learned a lot about what the design of the product should be, the choices that we had to take, because we also gave agency in the first instance through the process by including the people in it. So yeah, that's...
And just one detail that I love about the product, which no one said yet, one of the main dimensions of the process is also disassembly of the product itself. So the product comes as a working hub, but the process of disassembly is part of the learning that gets you to a place where taking apart, putting back together is essentially the learning that's happening. It's a learning by doing, but a learning by disassembly,
yes, exactly.
Which I think is a really unique part of the process.
Yeah.
So based on all of this, can you tell us, Peter, you talked a lot about, when we started talking about this panel, you talked about how important this certification and the part of Strathmore being a part of this process and the partners that are part of this process, that this is obviously providing a function for the community, but it's actually about a bigger remit around hope and about something more than that. Can you tell us what's going on in this community now and how that's kind of playing out?
Thank you very much. Majority of the youths that we are dealing with, they grew up within the slum. When I talk about the slum, Kibera is one of the largest slums in sub-Saharan Africa. There is darkness, so what we are seeing here, it's never there. So whenever now we are using our tools, most of the students, when they are practicing, they charge their charge controller, and the beauty part and what they have been telling us, at night they can connect a light and they can be able to even read. It also acts as part of the security to them. Now the beauty part comes in. This student who has grown up in a slum within Kenya lacks the opportunity even to step in a university. What we are doing, we are bringing the university within the slum because they can be able to take through the program, learn, and we normally arrange a graduation inside the Strathmore University, one of the prestigious universities in Nairobi. So we bring them to the university, they get that certificate. what does this certificate mean? It puts them on the competitive edge with any other person, including you who are here, who are watching me, that they can apply the same job using that certificate because they are qualified. They went through the skills. And the beauty part of it, they did it themselves and they use the tools. So that's the beauty part which gives them hope. And yeah, that's all that I can try to put it across at the moment.
So I know I'm supposed to stop for questions, but I'm just going to ask you to say one thing about what's happening next for the project.
Sure.
And then we'll stop for questions.
Yes, thank you. Just very briefly, I just want to say to the students who are joining us online, a massive thank you to the work, the time that you've given. I think they are the superstars here, the amazing work they've done. So I just want to say to thank you. So we've had some amazing impact so far. You can see some of the numbers up there. We are now working together with the Department for Energy and Net Zero in the UK through their UK Pact programme, which is their Partnerships for Accelerating Climate Transitions. And we're now going to be delivering this to 300 students across Kenya over the next 12 months. And as we implement that, this is our kind of first big program that we're going to be utilising this to actually deliver it. So we're very, very excited about that. And we'll be kind of looking for further growth opportunities once we've delivered that. But yeah, very exciting.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay, questions?
To sort of perch awkwardly here. I was offered a chair and I turned it down, but it does feel quite weird actually. But we have had some good questions in. Thanks for the great panel. A few questions from the audience. Is there an ambition to have production move to the graduates? Can they learn to build themselves to further empower or upskill?
For you.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, 100%. It's something that we are constantly looking at. At the moment, production is done in China, and something that we're looking to see if we can find ways in which we can produce it in Kenya as well. We found some really interesting local manufacturing partners, and a key part of that is going to be assembly. It's going to be quality assurance, but it's also going to be, product design is going forward. So certainly something that we're looking to take and bring on board from that network to build out that capacity locally. But I think more broadly, what we're trying to do is, this is a key piece of innovation, right? This is a key tool for innovation that you need. It's something that allows you to have variable voltage. It's something that if you're testing new circuits or learning about circuits, you have to have. Now we've allowed everyone to have one of these in their home for those who want it. So what we're enabling is decentralized innovation and something that we're looking to support going forward, both ourselves but also to bring other partners on board who can bring those ideas to fruition.
Perfect. When students graduate, how do you encourage them to take the next steps or help them identify their focus for new learnings? Or does it end? What's next?
First, the graduation is always the beauty part. But what we've done also, we are working with other partners, and we have students going for their first internship. My role also in Kenya is to follow up the student, also guide them, so that they are well absorbed within this job market.
A very quick question. Tell us more about community agency in the colour design process. I noticed that the colour doesn't match your great shirt.
Yeah.
Is that a hint?
This is not an accident.
No. I can talk a little bit about that. But our great industrial designer, she put together several renders with both different colors, and obviously there's a color scheme that we went for, right? Energy Makers Academy is all about the purple. We introduced some greens, some yellows, thank you to the brand designer as well. But part of those renders, there were grays, there were browns, there were blacks, and we just wanted to say, do we want these to just fit in the rooms, with where people are, or is it something that people want to stand out? they wanted it to stand out. So we just kept going with it. Like, believe me, that it was like it was something that we weren't really expecting it. Like but we are actually really happy about it. It's something to shout about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Changing tack slightly, I'm just going to take a couple more. Obviously, set up projects like this can prompt a lot of feelings for people. This is quite an interesting question. What was the reason for a Westerner or a Western sort of agency or consortium to come solve these problems? Could locals not be empowered to do it themselves?
Thompson.
I mean, there's a bunch of, we can answer it together. So, I mean, first of all, it's not a Western agency. Open Energy Labs has been working in this region for over 10 years. Samson has been in this region for over 10 years. We've known each other for over 10 years and have admired each other's work from afar. And I think when this project came up and this opportunity came up, it was really about how do we assemble a distributed team with the right skills across different places to be able to actually address this in a way that you felt was really going to address the complexity of the problem. So I don't think it's like a Western agency. So I think it's more a consortium of partners coming together, bringing in local partners as part of the core team. This wasn't like a bring them in later. Part of the core team to actually understand the needs and to then find the right resources. I mean, we had a firmware engineer at MIT. We had, product designers from Spain. We had lots of different people, but the community and the participation within that region was always core to the process. So, yeah, I don't think it's that binary would be my answer.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like just a bit of personal context. I have Afro-Caribbean heritage. So personally, I've always felt a connection to the continent of Africa as lost, shall we say, euphemistically, in the mists of time as it may be. So for me, there's always been a personal desire there to also recognize the resources that have been invested in me, not just by me, but by, the country that I live in, the UK, that there is an excellent education system, that all of that resource, and part of that is, okay, how can I leverage that resource in both a impactful, right, but also just way. And I think the point of what we're trying to do is actually to empower people to solve those problems for themselves. We're not coming and saying, here's your energy system. We're saying, here's the thing that teaches you how your energy system works. And that is fundamental to what it is that we do. And I think has also, underpinned and challenges the kind of traditional Western way of doing things.
When I was reading that question, I was thinking empowerment, I think, would be one of the keywords I would hope people would take from the panel in its entirety. So interesting to see that sort of come through and be interpreted in different ways. All right, last question, I guess looking to the future. How does a project like this become financially self-sustainable and scalable? Does it rely on grant funding?
It does rely on grant funding at the moment. So we have been very lucky again to be based in the UK, that there is an excellent innovation environment, and I know that FAM Studio have also done a lot of work with that. So at the moment it is grant funding. We are developing sustainable economic models. So fundamentally, what we're trying to do, and I talked about material conditions, a good measure for material conditions is how much money are you earning, right? And so one of the things that we're always trying to do is make sure that people are earning more money as a result of the skills that they gain from this. And we believe that there are ways, and we can see that as an investment that our customers are taking in themselves. And we're working together with banks, particularly local banks, to offer essentially micro education loans that enable people to invest in themselves, boost their income, and then make the repayment of those small loans actually a fairly small part of their income versus what it would have been if they hadn't. So we are exploring those sustainable models, working together with big institutional partners to really unlock that financing part as well.
Wonderful. Big round of applause for our panel, please. I'll clear the way. If one of 5 of us doesn't fall off the stage, I'll be quite surprised. success, or it might be me. Okay, we're actually wrapping up this Hive session. I think, you know, for me, as going through the session, I think it absolutely lived up to the promise of the headline around frontiers and front lines. I was thinking, World Design Congress, you're going to hear lots of really big ideas, and big, beautiful visions and ideas are incredibly important. Circular economy is one I feel very attached to, but you'll hear many, many more, donut economics, things like that. But we also need stories of action, stories of where idealism meets implementation, and the messy, incremental, iterative realities that people who are rolling up their sleeves are dealing with. And that's been on show in abundance over the past 90 minutes. So thank you very much for joining. Thanks for your fantastic questions, and enjoy the rest of Congress.